2024. I'll ask you all to please rise for invocation. Who is doing their invocation tonight? Carrie, you do our invocation?
Yes, sir.
Would you? Thank you, sir. And then remain standing for Pledge of Allegiance. And we have a special guest that will do that. And Councilmember Laster will introduce him.
May we pray? Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all the opportunities that we've had to challenge today. We thank you for giving us the opportunity to come together tonight as a council. We ask that you be with all the city workers, strengthen them, guide them as they work through the cold weather and all the challenges that they are approached with every day. Thank you for your leadership in our lives. We ask that you always help us understand that patience is important and that your will be done, and that we should always be at that point where we will follow what you want. Thank you for the day. Thank you for everyone's represented here. Thank you for all our educational people that are here that teach our children and our grandchildren, and we appreciate what they do day in and day out. Thank you once again for your love. Thank you for being there for us. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And we have a special guest that's going to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, we have Malcolm McDermott. He is a student at Kittystone Elementary. And what grade are you in?
Third.
He's in the 3rd grade, and he will be saying the pledge for us tonight. And we thank him so much for volunteering. Thank you. You ready? Over here. Look over here.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Mr. Green?
Here.
Mr. Wilson?
Here.
Ms. Laster?
Here.
Mr. Galloway?
Here.
Coming up next, we have a proclamation, School Board Recognition Month. Mr. Green.
Yes, the month of January is a very special month. It is National School Board Recognition Month. I know that we have our interim superintendent, Dr. Michael Barber, here, school board member, Ms. Marita Watson. So I've shared with them that I'm going to be reading this tonight as it being signed this day, but coming up at their regularly scheduled meeting for this week, that this proclamation will be presented to the school board on Thursday of this week. So for the record, I will read this proclamation. National Board of Education Month, Cultivating Brilliance in Alabama Schools. Whereas our community values a quality education as a vital step along the pathway to success for our children, offering the opportunity to place our students firmly on the track to a lifetime of excellence and achievement. And whereas a strong school system is also a diamond in the quality of life for all Jacksonville citizens and a very important draw for bringing new blood to our community. And whereas January is National School Board Recognition Month, and the theme for 2024 is Cultivating Brilliance in Alabama Schools. And whereas the Jacksonville Board of Education is apprised of very dedicated, knowledgeable, and caring individuals who work prudently to ensure that the students that attend Jacksonville City Schools are afforded the best curriculum and environment to thrive in. And whereas the Jacksonville Board of Education is very knowledgeable in creating policies to guarantee the children, teachers, and employees a safe, efficient, and effective school system, and providing representation at the local, state, and federal levels for education interests of importance to Jacksonville City Schools. And whereas these decision makers are responsible for maintaining strong, effective budgetary oversight, high standards for employment, and a safe, well-managed set of school facilities while serving our community with integrity, honor, and a commitment to our children's future. Now therefore, Johnny L. Smith, Mayor of the City of Jacksonville, and on behalf of the City Council of Jacksonville, Alabama, do hereby proclaim the month of January 2024 as National Board of Education Month and encourage all residents of this community to reach out to our Jacksonville Board of Education members and thank them for devoting their time, knowledge, and talents to advocate for our school children and an excellent school system. Signed on this 22nd day of January 2024 by Mayor Dr. Johnny L. Smith. Yes, your call.
Thank you. Thank you. First item on our work session is the Waterworks, Gas, and Sewer Board's audit. Mr. Edgar?
Thank you.
How are you doing, sir?
Just fine. Just getting glad we're getting past some of this cold air. You know, I was coming over here, I left the house at 42, I get in Jacksonville at 51, so y'all really cooking over here.
Got a good gas.
Y'all have copies of the audit in front of you?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna start on page 1, which is the independent auditor's report. The second paragraph down is our opinion on the financial statements. And I'm gonna read that opinion to y'all. In our opinion, financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information for Jacksonville Water Works, Gas and Sewer Board as of September 30th, 2023, and the respective changes in financial position and, where applicable, cash flows thereof for the year then ended in accordance with the accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. That's what we call in the business as an unqualified opinion. We have tested all these numbers, and according to our opinion, they are materially correct. Now, let's turn over and talk about some of these numbers. I'm going to try to keep this short for y'all because I know most people don't like to go over numbers too often or too long.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. On page 5, you will find the balance sheets for the Waterworks Gas and Sewer Board. And some of the things that I noted as I looked down through here, your current assets increased from 2022 to 2023 by $194,041, up to $3,942,892. But I also noted that your restricted assets of cash and investments, the next line down, had a decrease of $560,042, bringing it down to $4,034,333. Now, the reason you had that decrease was, if you look over on page 17, which is in the notes to the financial statements, you can see the utility plan and service. There's a chart down there showing the balance at September 30th, 2022, and to the right-hand side is the balance September 30th, 2023. But that additions column, you may note that construction in progress for this year was $548,914, but your total depreciable assets increased by $1,117,309. You had a couple of pretty good concise projects going on during the year. So anytime I see a decrease in cash, I always want to look to see where it went, and that's primarily where it went. Your total utility plant and equipment, back on page 5, net of the depreciation, increased by $740,000 during the year. It went from $18,377,342 up to $19,117,901. And you may have noticed that the decrease in cash by the $560,000 is a little bit less than what was showing on your capital asset increase. If you look over on page 6, the top line there is your accounts payable and accrued expenses. And in 2022, you had $210,813 in accounts payable at the end of the year. And in 2023, that went up to $828,820. So that's an increase of $618,000 in your accounts payable. And that was, a lot of those bills hit right at the end of the year for that construction. And but because the liability had been incurred, we had to record it on the books. And your long-term liabilities is another place I look to see how healthy a utility is. And you went from 15,351 down to 14,389, a total decrease of 961,502. That's a pretty good decrease on that. And the way your long-term debt's set up, you're basically paying just a little under $1 million a year toward that outstanding balance. Does anybody have any questions for me? Something you can stop me at any time. There's one other thing I wanted to point out. Like I told you, I'm not going to keep y'all a long time, but toward the back of your packet there on page 29, we have, because we have to audit the utility under government auditing standards, we have to issue a second report. It's an independent auditor's report on internal control over financial reporting and on compliance and other matters based on an audit of the financial statements performed in accordance with government auditing standards. And I've always wondered why they make that title so long in this report. But we, during the course of doing the audit, we spent a significant amount of time looking at the internal controls that the entity has, and if they're following those controls. And when we look at those internal controls, we address it as, are these the proper controls for the circumstance? You know, is it the financial reporting going to be fairly stated because everything is, checks and balances are being done? And on page 30, that second paragraph, next to the last sentence, it says, given these limitations that we mentioned above, during our audit, we did not identify any deficiencies in internal control that we consider to be a material weakness. But because we didn't test every control for the entire year, we have to state, however, material weaknesses may exist that have not been identified. But as far as our test work goes, we did not find any. And we also have to look at compliance to laws, compliance to grants. Your debt service has compliance requirements. And if you look under that compliance and other matters, the last sentence is telling you what we found. The results of our test disclosed no instances of non-compliance or other matters that are required to be reported under government auditing standards. So again, this year, even though my staff tries real hard to find something, I guess Michael's been hiding it from them if y'all have any deficiencies. Do y'all have any questions of me?
No, sir, just thank you. Thank you for your staff for all the hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is the resolution number R-2197-24 regarding the Board of Education elections. Brenda?
Same as what we talked about last year and a few weeks ago. This is just going to change the Board of Education elections where they coincide with our municipal elections. It'll have places 3, 4, and 5 at the same time of y'all's elections. And then 2 years following, it will have places 1 and 2 election. So it'll still be every 2 years, but it'll be at the same time as y'all. And from here forward, it won't have to be changed again because we're doing it to coincide with the municipal election and then the other 2 years following the municipal election. So in the future, if the state decides to make another change, we can automatically change their elections to fall with their election.
Okay. Any questions about that? We've discussed it several times. This seems like it makes it a little easier. Any questions, comments? Brenda? Thanks, Brenda. Next is the pyrotechnics agreement for Jack's Fest.
And Ms. Jim is actually off today, so I will talk this one for her. You have the contract in front of you. The actual cost of the contract this year is the same as it was, or it is what is in the budget for this year, so there's no, they attempted an increase, but Janet was able to get them to bring it down to what the budget is. The actual fireworks will be the same as what they did last year, so if you were there last year, location is planning to be at the same location. She does plan to, based on the after-action report, perhaps make some adjustments in terms of where the events are. But same location, July 3rd, 6 to 9 o'clock p.m. They don't have a rain date as of this time. There's no date that's available around the 4th of July, but they can reschedule for us if, for whatever reason, and Janet says rain will not happen that day. So if you've got any questions in terms of what is being planned, I think you've got it in your packet.
What was that date?
It's July 3rd, 6 to 9 o'clock.
And I don't guess we need to come up with a alternate date unless we were to have rain on the 3rd.
Correct. Because you can do it at any time. And she actually mentioned possibility of a fall festival
Yeah,
or,
we discussed that.
yeah.
But they, correct me if I'm wrong, they did discuss that since they did not, Janice got them from, kept them from doing the increase this year, there would be an increase next year.
You can't expect that it will go up some next year. In fact,
So
they
more
said
buck
their,
and less bang.
yeah, their cost is going up, so, you know, they were willing to work with us this year for it. But we can expect it in the future.
Any other questions for Ms. Burke? Thank you, ma'am.
Good for that.
And I
And you
will
might, you're gonna
for
stay
the
here?
next one,
Okay.
yes.
The retail strategies contract renewal discussion.
So approximately 2 weeks ago, I guess, I got this new contract that they're requesting. Of course, we've done year 1 and 2. This is year 3 that they're asking. And I kind of told them if they wanted to be brave enough to come before you all to talk this one, they're welcome to do so. So I just needed to get a feel if you wanted them to even come or if you want to go a
Yes, I
different
do.
direction with this.
Huh?
I do too.
Do what? I'm sorry.
I want to come.
To come?
I do too.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I think it'd be a wonderful idea.
Well, this current contract expires the 10th of April, so we've got a little time that we can work a schedule with them to come before you all.
Is there any way, not to drag this out, but that we can have like a grading report of what they have actually done and have their hands in what they've done for us versus what our expectations are or what we would like to see being
I don't think that's too much to ask.
I'd like to see if we're gonna go what's another, what, 25 grand?
No, it's 40.
Okay, then I think we really need to have a
Yes,
conversation.
okay. I can certainly get that for you.
Where
as
did
well.
I get 25 from?
I don't know. Wishful thinking?
Maybe.
Don't go into auditing.
Okay,
And I think it was 25 for the downtown strategy.
okay,
the
20,
retail
okay.
strategies.
Oh, yeah.
So it's 40?
Yeah, because they were, I think, helpful in some projects, but we might have forgotten at least 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'd just like to see, you know me, Bert.
Yep, I know.
What have you done for me lately?
I won't see them.
Miss Grant, I like to see some slides, like
Okay.
before and after, you know. Would be nice.
They will come, I'm sure, with
And I
that.
think they have a new person. Didn't we? We started
They
getting some
do.
communication from
They
this
do
person,
have new.
so
new
Okay.
people
might be
there
good
now.
anyway to meet them.
Mm-hmm.
I will get that set up for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, any other business, come from work session? I have one thing. It's just, you know, the mobile, restroom trailer that we bid out. Need to know, originally I thought we decided not to do the wrap, but now it was in the price that we approved. So we need to kind of look to see what kind of lettering, what you may want on it. CD symbols,
do they have graphic artists that can give us some preliminary drawings?
If we
of
get-
How they would do it, or we
Right,
have to
if-
pay for
We
it?
didn't include that in the bid. That's what the part that we didn't include in the
Right.
bid. We said that we would get our own graphics.
Okay,
Because we know of other departments that do this kind of thing, and we figured we could get that cheaper than having them draw some. do
Mhm.
something.
But there, what was the build-out date that we're trying to?
February, it's the 1st of February, but like the second week of February, I
Mhm.
believe, is when they're putting it in for,
But did they get awarded with graphics, or?
it got awarded with us giving them the graphics and then putting them on the trailer. So
Mhm.
what I need is a file of the graphic that y'all want on the sides of the trailer, so that when they're going through, we can put on.
Well, they need to provide some specifications too, I mean, because
Yeah,
otherwise you
what
just.
size and?
Yeah, I mean, an EPS file, I'm sure, but I mean, that's gonna be one of those, I mean, I know y'all are wrapping vehicles, and the new SRO vehicle is really, really cool, by the way.
Mhm.
I know it's
It
parked
is
out here the
nice.
other week, but I mean, those specifications need to be known before anything, and I know we can get into preferences, but, I mean, anytime you can put the city's symbol on something, that's great, but is that, I mean, you kind of want to communicate that it is a restroom facility
Mhm.
also, so.
Not
You
a
know.
restaurant.
Yeah, there's not the mobile city council
Yeah.
meeting trailer.
It's supposed to go in,
It could be.
it's supposed to go in for production of February 19th through 24th.
So is there an option to get what those specifications are?
I can ask him.
Or,
I can ask you if there's any specifications we need, or
So-
basically,
Because we want to be real professional how this thing
Right.
works. We don't want just to,
I mean, this is a high-class bathroom.
Yeah.
I would think we'd have
We're talking mobile
time,
bathroom.
but we don't need to get into the 12th.
Well,
And they go in production on the 19th. I mean, really, I kind of want to know how much detail you want.
Yeah,
Is it
that's-
simple,
Yeah.
is?
I
Or,
think,
I'm sure it's
Simple.
gonna have signs on where the restroom doors and whatnot are for, that says that it's a bathroom. I think these are just the graphics y'all were talking about, like putting the city symbol on each side or something like that. City seal, I don't know why it's-
Does it
I think I
have-
said simple.
Does it have lighting on it?
But anyways, they just need a file, but I can reach out to him and ask him if there's any details as far as size or whatnot, or.
Do we have that in vector format?
If we don't, we can get it.
Okay.
I was gonna suggest putting Ben come up
Marcus
with
says we
some
do.
ideas.
No.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea, let's keep it kind of simple and
Mhm.
professional.
Name it after you.
That's right, we're gonna put Terry's high school picture on it.
Not gonna get me started. I'm
Yeah, I
in
think those
trouble.
specifications would be needed, so.
Yeah.
Do we want to, divest that authority of what's on there to anybody? I mean, to come back with an idea of what it looks like?
I'll get up with all parties
Yeah.
and then bring something back on the next meeting. Unless someone else wants to take that.
All I wanna do is.
No.
Is it flows?
You got it.
You got
I
it?
trust you.
You got a great mind.
Okay. All right. Any other business?
Got a couple of topics I need to talk to y'all about. On the agenda tonight is the ordinance for the floodplain development. Just want to kind of give y'all a reason for it. ADECA had actually sent us an email back in August that this was going to be required. Apparently FEMA has determined that their national flood insurance program needed some transformation. So they basically just come up with a template of what they want all states to use as far as the floodplain ordinance goes. So basically what they gave us was a template to use. I took the template, put it in our ordinance format, and I can't really tell you the difference between the old one and the new one because Mark Williams was the one that used to be our floodplain administrator. And then now Ms. Burt pointed at me and said I was now the new floodplain administrator. So As far as being able to tell y'all word for word what the differences are, I do not know. All I know is they gave us a template. They said we had to use the template, and that's what I did. It has to be approved by February the 4th. So that's why we're having to do the consent
Mm-hmm. Sure.
order tonight. But I did, after, I did the draft, gave it to the mayor for him to look at. Then we passed it back to ADECA to be sure they were good with how we had it set up. They had 5 minutes worth of changes. So I made those changes, and that's what y'all have before y'all.
Okay.
So,
Any questions for Mark?
They're happy.
Yeah.
the other topic is the Eastwood Storm Shelter. As y'all know, 4.5 years, back in June, 4.5 years later, we found out we got approved. Of course, it came up with it being 4.5 years, the cost went up. So in August, we asked for a budget amendment, and we got it. We just found out. So,
Yay.
got a letter from them, and they gave us exactly what we asked for. The original cost was $331,568.48. The new number was $393,680.65. So the city's original portion was $82,892. The new portion would be $98,420.16. So,
And we're ready to go, right? Like, no
well, we got
more-
we got to get an
no more-
architect involved.
We're building it 4 more years or nothing like
No.
that.
We've actually got a drop dead deadline now.
Of course, now we got
And it's got a 4-year
Yeah,
deadline though, right?
4.5
Okay.
to take our
years.
greatest safety.
That's, I know, I was always like that.
Yeah, it took them 4.5 years to approve it, but now they've given us a drop dead date to actually have it constructed. We actually have to have it constructed by October of this year. The lady at Alabama EMA, talked to her today, she said that's unrealistic. She said all y'all have to do is request the time to be pushed. But she said what I do suggest is if the council's good with going forward with it, go ahead this week and get your architect notified that y'all are moving forward with
All
it.
right, now, when you say the architect, is that built into that 98,000 we
It
gotta
is.
spend?
His fee is included in this. That was part of the price
Price
increase.
input.
Yes, sir.
Did we have one from,
Yeah, his name is Mark Burns. Apparently, the storm shelters is stuff that he does. So, he's been involved since day one.
Right,
Yeah.
he's the reason all this got started.
So, I just need to know from y'all, do y'all wanna move forward?
Of course.
Yes.
Yes, we've waited this long. Yes.
Well, I mean,
And just keep in mind too, it's still gonna be on the right side of the driveway going up.
Yeah.
Because if we would have moved it over into the tree line, we would have started back at ground zero.
but now, let's not to
Is-
drive this out again, but if we go into that right side, is it going into that bank or it's going to sit on
There's
top?
actually gonna have to be a little bit of fill to, cause, you know, where the asphalt is, it kind of falls
Yeah.
off. That will have to be brought up level with the asphalt. But the building again is 13 feet on one side, I think, and 12 on the
So
other. It's
it
got a
won't-
shed roof.
It won't hit the school.
No, sir.
when we get
I don't
there.
believe so. I don't think it's gonna impede,
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna impede the sight line at all.
But it will give us a city shelter on the west, on the east side of
And
town.
Twofold, with us having the park there, the bathrooms inside, it can stay open during the day.
And originally, we just about being able to lease it out, rent it out for
Yeah.
events, such as the rest.
Absolutely.
And now that we've got the disc golf over there, you know, people can have the restrooms available and,
But this will go, that would go into, if we were to go under a weather watch when this facility opens up, I think they're used to decide admin for it. They would have to name someone to be a site admin for that facility, and I think there's a few administrative things we'll have to start looking. I'm gonna give you a copy of that.
Well, the good part
Thank
too,
you.
now in that price included is getting running sewer and water and
Yes, sir.
everything there.
Yes,
So
sir.
that puts that
That
much
puts
more
more
closer
closer
to
to the-
Eastwood School.
Sure does.
That'll save money on that back end of that.
Or if it has anything to do with the new administration prospect or something.
Yeah, it could do. Could do. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. All right, anything else?
We vote on it tonight.
Mark, we're just moving.
Get it on the list.
Anything
That's
else?
all I
Mark?
have.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mark.
All right, any other business? If not, we'll move on to our rest of the adoption of the minutes from the January 4th work
So
session and the 8th. Councilman. A motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. The agenda, I think we have some additions.
And we do. To the main agenda, add item 16, consider action to approve the employment of the following. Item C is Riley Warren Small, part-time public safety communication officer, range 12, effective upon compliance with ordinance number 273, due to the resignation of Mary G. Also add to 18, consider action to accept the resignation of the following. Item B is Mary Hope Lambert, Public Safety Communication Officer, effective February 2, 2024. To the main agenda, amend item 27, consider action to adjourn into an executive session under the provisions of the Code of Alabama, section 36-25A-7A6, to discuss the consideration a governmental body is willing to offer or accept for the purchase, sale, exchange, lease, or market value of real property, and section 36-25A-7A7 to discuss matters of economic development, trade, or commerce. To the consent agenda, amend item 21, request to attend conference training session with cost exceeding $1,000. Number one is $1,545 to Christian Lopez to attend structural class at the Alabama Fire College, March 11 through 18, 2024. Also to item 21, add request to attend conference training session with cost exceeding $1,000. Number three, $1,205 to Marcus Wood to attend Alabama's Chief Association Winter Trading Conference in Montgomery, February 18 through 21, 2024.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Now we come to the time of public comments. This is your opportunity to address the council on any agenda item. If you do so, please come to the podium, state your name, address, and then get with the city clerk before you leave. Seeing no one come forward, we'll move on. Moving on to item 10.
Consider action to suspend the rules for the immediate consideration of ordinance number 0-651-24 regarding floodplain development.
So moved.
We have a motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Laster?
Yes.
Mr. Galloway?
Yes.
Item 11.
Consideration of ordinance number 0-651-24 regarding floodplain development.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Laster?
Yes.
Mr. Galloway?
Yes.
Item 12.
Consideration of ordinance number 0-650-24 that rezones certain property located in the southwest quadrant of the intersection of Mountain Street Northeast and 7th Avenue Northeast that is known as a one-lot subdivision named Jim's Place as recorded in Plat Book KK, page 63, from R1 Single Family Residential District to R2 Two Family Residential District, received first reading January 8, 2024.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion in 2 seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 13.
Consideration of resolution number R-2197-24, requesting the Alabama legislature to introduce legislation to to amend Title 45, Chapter 8A, Sections 45-88 through 70, Board of Education, terms, elections of the city of Jacksonville, Alabama.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion in 2 seconds again. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 14.
Consider action to authorize the mayor to sign the pyrotechnical agreement, the fireworks display at Jack's Fest to be held on July 3rd, 2024, per the attached.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 15.
Consider action to accept the Waterworks Gas and Sewer Board FY 2023 audit as presented by Egger and Associates, per the attached.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 16.
Consider action to approve the employment of the following. Item A is Sarah Ann Melton, Recreation and Athletic Assistant, range 7, effective upon compliance with ordinance number 273. It's a new position. Item B is Cameron Antoine Russell, Utility Maintenance Assistant, range 10, effective upon compliance with ordinance number 273, due to the promotion of Aaron Berquist.
So
And item C is Riley Warren Small, part-time Public Safety Communication Officer, range 12, effective upon compliance with ordinance number 273, due to the resignation of Mary Duke.
Now so moved.
Second.
I have a motion and
I'll
a
second.
second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 17.
Consider action to approve the transfer of the following. David Drew Tinker, full-time correction officer, range 9, effective January 24, 2024, due to the resignation of Taylor Cross.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 18.
Consider action to accept the resignation of the following. A is Cameron L. Watkins, police officer, effective January 23rd, 2024. And B is Mary Holt Lambert, public safety communication officer, effective February 2nd, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
A motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. The consent agenda.
Item 19, budget amendments. Item 20, purchases over $7,500. Item 21, request to attend conference training with cost exceeding $1,000. Item 22, disposition of surplus property.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Now is the time for public comments for any general items. Anything you'd like to come and address the council, this is the time to do so. Seeing no one come forward, we'll move on to councilmember remarks.
Thank you for allowing us to recognize our school board tonight. I know, as I said earlier, we'll recognize you at your regular meeting on Thursday. The board president, Mr. Ed Doc Kennedy, and vice is Jeff Gossett, if I got that right. But Mrs. Teresia Hall and Mrs. Phyllis Morrison, along with you, Ms. Watson. Thank you for what you give to the children of Jacksonville City Schools. I know I send my wife and one of our 2 children to Jacksonville City Schools every day. Between the Board of Education and the Jacksonville Police Department, I always feel very safe and know the hands and the care that they're in, not just from a safety, security standpoint, but from an instructional and a leadership standpoint. And so, Dr. Barber, thank you for leading us right now, and thank you, school board, for all that you do to make Jacksonville the place where many people want to come because of our city school system. So thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you. Anything else?
I'm good.
All right, mayor's report.
Just a couple of announcements. Several entities around town that had done notary services in the past have kind of given that up. We seem to have more and more requests. So get the word around that the library is now has that service available free. That Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturdays, 9 to 3. They are closed for lunch from 1 to 2, so but those days, otherwise, you can be taken care of if you need that service. And then to remind you that we do have a blood drive tomorrow. 10 to 2, here, at the community center, in Jackson Community Center. So if any of you pass that word around, so we can get some people out to share their bud. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other business needs to come before the
There's
council?
one other thing.
Oh, yes, there is.
Patricia, will you stand up? I have an intern with me this semester. She's here tonight, Patricia Daigle. Am I saying it right? Thanks for being here. She's a real expert about writing grants too. So
I need to talk to
we're
you.
gonna put her to work.
You're going to become very popular very quickly.
Look, my name is at the top of the list. I need to talk to you.
She's doing the intern through Jack State.
Oh, that's awesome.
Welcome.
Any other business? Hearing none, Ms. Burke?
Consider action to adjourn into an executive session under provisions of the Code of Alabama, Section 36-25A-786, to discuss the consideration the governmental body is willing to offer or accept for the purchase, sale, exchange, lease, or market value of real property, and Section 36-25A-787, to discuss matters of economic development, trade, or commerce.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Laster?
Yes.
Mr. Galloway?
Yes.
Thank you all. Will not be coming back. Thank you for being here. It was nice, very nice to meet you. Marita will lead you down the trail, hopefully the right direction.
No doubt.
Uh,
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
You have a good night. Be safe.